Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing great. I hope you're doing awesome. Today I'm gonna be talking about how knowledge is the key to prevent you from sinning. As you all may know, sinning is something we all humans do. Since the creation of Adam alayhi salam, it was obviously known that the human being was a creation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that obviously is really weak in the sense of there's a weakness in the soul of the human being that lets the human being to fall into sins. And most of the times we say that the main reason we fall into the sins is because of shaitan. But the truth is, the shaitan plays an important role, it's true, but the main reason we usually sin is because of our soul, is because of our selves. When I say soul in this case, I refer to the nafs. The nafs is the part of our body, like it's not like it's a part of ourselves that basically lets us follow our biggest desires, and as human beings we have desires, so it's sometimes really hard to not follow our desires and fall into the sin. That's that is the nafs. So the biggest battles we as human beings are going to go through is with the nafs, right? But what usually I don't usually see people talking about this. Like the ilm, the knowledge, is the biggest way for us to prevent the sin. Why? Because the more we acquire knowledge, the more we're trying to learn about the deen, Islam, the more we try to learn because of ourselves, the more we realize the importance of the sin. The more we realize that the sin we're making is not going to help us, but indeed is going to give us dunub, which at the end of the day basically means more bad deeds. And in the case we end up dying and we have more dunub, more bad deeds than hasanat, which are good deeds, that basically means that Jahannam, right? Astaghfirullah, but yeah, it's true. So the more we see, we realize that making a sin is not worth it, because we keep on learning, we keep on having knowledge, we keep on, trying to become closer to Allah. The more we prevent ourselves from falling into this sin. It doesn't matter if it's a minor or a major sin. And this is something I'm going to be talking about right now. You see, people don't usually give importance to minor sins. Most of the times, the shaitan plays with our minds. The shaitan tells us, it doesn't matter. It's a minor sin. What is it going to do to you? You're just going to do this small sin, that's it. It's not going to change the amount of good deeds you have. You can do it. It doesn't matter, right? But the truth is, I believe that the minor sins are way worse than the major ones. Why? Basically, because the more we make minor sins, because we believe they are not, it doesn't matter, they are not worth it, like they're just small, like the more small ones we make, the more we're closer to the major ones. And there's going to reach a point where the minor sin is going to surpass the major sin. And there is where the problem is going to start. That is where we're going to start becoming like we're getting far away from Allah. The point we start making a sin as something we make every single day, and it's something normal in our daily lives. It's just a sin, a small sin, that's it. The more we're becoming further from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the main things that makes us realize this is when we get closer to Allah with ilm, with knowledge. Because we realize, we know that whether it's a minor sin or a major sin, they're both equally dangerous. They're both equally dangerous, but even the minor sin is more dangerous, because when you get used to make a sin and you don't feel guilt about it, then that means your heart is basically, the word is becoming sick, because it's getting more like a rock. The main thing that tells us, we as Muslims fear Allah, is when we make a sin and we feel guilt about it. Because as we all Muslims know, we make sins. But the thing is, the main difference between a sinner that is a believer and the sinner that isn't a believer is that the sinner that is a believer feels guilt during when the sin is finished. Maybe during the time the person is making the sin doesn't realize it, because that's usually the case. But when this believer stops making the sin, realizes the guilt and the thing is doing, that's a really big issue, that shouldn't be happening, right? But when you make a small sin 1,000 1,000,000 times, and you just think it's something from your lifestyle, that's it. I don't know, listening to music, you're getting further from Allah, and that's a really big problem, because there's going to, in that point, you just basically don't have any guilt. You don't feel bad for your sin. So if you don't feel guilt, that basically means you won't ask forgiveness from Allah. And if you don't ask forgiveness for Allah, that sin has been written down on your scale. The problem is not to sin. The problem is when we sin and don't repent. If we sin 1,000,000 times, it doesn't matter, as long as you end up repenting. The problem is when you sin and you just don't care about it. Keep on acquiring knowledge. Keep on trying to read the Quran, because something I realized, that when you read the Quran, when you listen to the Quran, something in your heart feels something. You feel something when you listen to the Quran, you read the Quran, because you feel connected to it. When you acquire knowledge, basically from the Quran, from the hadiths, from watching content, Islamic content, obviously from creators that know about this, shuyukh, you will realize you are getting closer to Allah. You will realize that indeed this life is a test. And the more you stop trying to acquire knowledge, the more you're going to sin. Because you're going to ignore the truth about this dunya. When you acquire knowledge, you are knowing the truth about this dunya. And the truth is, we usually don't want to know the truth because sometimes the truth is not something we want to hear. That's why when disbelievers listen to the Quran, they feel they hate the Quran and even hate Allah, astaghfirullah, because they felt connected. They felt connected to the message. They felt they were disbelievers. That's why they hated it, because they know that message is for them. And when there's points in our lives where our iman is low, and I've been going through that. All Muslims have been going through that, even non-Muslims. This is something all human beings are going to go through. I realize I don't really care about what I'm doing, right? I don't really care. But once I read a message from the Quran, once I listen to the Quran, I realize the bad deeds I've been making. And I said to myself, astaghfirullah, why haven't I read this? Why I have, there's also a message from the Quran. There's a lot of messages, not only one, a lot of messages from the Quran that say, I'm not going to say in a specific verse or something, I'm just going to say the message in itself, that indeed the ignorance, the ones that don't read the Quran, the ones that don't they don't want to know the truth, those are the ones that are going to test the Jahannam, and they are the ones that are going to they're going to go to hell, basically. And you see, when I read again the Quran, I was like, oh my god, astaghfirullah. I felt connected in some way, because I was like, oh my god, I've been going through this. There was a point I haven't read any Quran, and I was like, oh my god, imagine I didn't come back to Allah. Imagine I didn't went to read again this surah, this book from Allah. Imagine, it's really shocking. But when you know the truth, you seek knowledge, that's when you realize the truth we live in, the dunya we live in, that we're being tested. I hope this message got to you. I hope you realized this. We're living in times where the truth is being avoided. The truth is considered a falsehood. The truth is considered irrelevant. The truth is considered extremist. The truth is considered a lie in itself. We're living in times where the falsehood, the ignorance, the lies are the things that make us become successful. The more you try to reach fame, the more you try to go for the materialistic things of this dunya, the more you try to go for the dunya, the more successful you're becoming. But where? In this dunya. But the truth is, these people that have fallen into this fake world, fake dunya, don't realize it. They don't. They are so blinded. They are so blinded by this dunya. They just don't want to know about the truth, about Islam, about the Deen, about the Quran. They don't want to know because they are just so happy. They have all they want in this dunya. They are being blessed. They only have one life. They don't need nothing else. Why would they want to read a book that calls disbelievers, that these people are going to go to Jahannam? Why would they want to read that? Why? You know, they just don't believe it. That's it. Indeed, they are the ignorance, but they don't know. They don't know. May Allah protect us. May Allah guide us all to the right path. May Allah make it easy for us in this world full of fitna. There's fitna in every single place now. There's not any specific place in the world where there is no fitna. Even in Islamic countries, there's fitna. Maybe less, but there is fitna. So don't say things like, I'm living in the West and I'm full of, and there's fitna everywhere. I can't fall in every single sin. Allah is going to understand because there's a lot of fitna. What can I do about it? Keep on learning. Keep on learning. Keep on reading the Quran. Keep on trying to become the best Muslim so that your iman gets high and you avoid these things. I've been going through dreams. I've been dreaming stuff that is crazy. Astaghfirullah, I don't want to say things, but I just see the world we live in. Every single place, there's fitna everywhere. I've been watching videos where Muslim people are being stopped to death just because of their religion. Muhammad said there will be a time where holding into your religion will be like holding into hot coal. I think we're living in those times right now. I felt like it was before, but now it's even worse. And we have to be grateful. We have to say Alhamdulillah for what we have. Indeed, those that are grateful are the ones that Allah is going to save them from the Jahannam, from hell. And inshallah, they will be the ones that won't go through any sort of test in the Day of Judgment, and they will go directly straight to Jannah bi'idhnillah. We have to keep fighting, you guys. We have to keep fighting. This is a silent war. Keep on seeking knowledge. Keep on teaching this. Please share this video. Maybe you can make people change their mind. This is a really important message. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Bi-idhnillah. Assalamu alaikum.